Welcome to another episode of Effortless Coding. My name is Sam and I'm glad that you've joined us in this particular episode. For those people who are new to this channel, kindly remember to subscribe and share with your friends. In this tutorial, we are going to learn how to link an external style sheet that we've created. Remember, our CSS file that we're gonna do or we're gonna deal with will be an external file from the HTML file. Reason being, still go back to the introductory video and see why we'll have an external style sheet. So we have to link it to the HTML page that we are dealing with to be able to apply those styles. So I will teach you how to link those styles, and also at the same time, sometimes you might not have some CSS properties in the style sheet and you'd want to directly have those styles within the HTML page and the tags. So we'll also talk about internal styles and also inline styles, and I'll tell you the difference when it comes to that. Now let's start with the linking. Remember when you talked about the link tag? The link is here, kindly check. We said we can link external resources to your current HTML page using the link tag, which actually is written within the head tag of our HTML page. So we will use the link tag in HTML to link our style sheet, our CSS file that we'll be creating during this particular tutorial. So on the HTML page, we will use the link tag. Now, how do you link that? You can see on my screen, open your Sublime editor and remember that file, remember our HTML file, my first HTML project.html. Go to the header, the head section, and type link. We did this during the HTML series. If you don't remember, kindly revisit the HTML series, especially the link tag. We did exactly this, but let me just revisit for purposes of this CSS tutorial. So you'll type the opening link tag, which is > link. Then we'll have the attribute. After that, space, as you can see on my screen, the attribute rel is equals to double quotes style sheet, then the ending double quote, then space, then also another attribute called type, which is equals to open two double quotes, then within the double quotes write text / CSS. Basically, it defines the type of external resource we are linking, and in this case, it's a CSS file. Then href, we've interacted with this particular attribute in more than one case, the link tag and also the anchor tag, you remember. So this is where we provide the path to the style CSS that we are actually creating. So remember, our style CSS is resident on the root folder where our my first HTML project.html file is. So we don't need to specify the folder that has the style. So we'll just type href is equals to double quotes style.css, then end the double quotes. Then after that, end the link tag, as you can see on my screen. In real world example, you will have to create a folder specifically for your CSS files. So in such a case, under href, you have to specify the folder name where the styles or the style that you want to link with resides. So just kindly note that next time we're dealing with a bigger project, we'll have a folder specific for our styles, our style sheets. And in that case, our link tag will have the folder name, then the style sheet file itself. So you can have as many style sheets as possible. It's not only reserved to one style. You can actually have so many style sheets, even 1,000. That's why you need, in big projects, you need a folder specifically for CSS files. This link tag can be used severally by just defining the CSS file you want to link from the CSS folder that has all those styles defined. Now remember, when we started this episode, I told you we also have, apart from the external style sheets, sometimes you might want to also write internal and inline styles. Now, what do we mean by internal styles? You remember when we were dealing with the head tag, we talked about the style tag. If you've not watched that video, kindly click on this link. Now, when we defined our style tag within the head section, we called it the internal styling. So the difference between internal and inline style sheets, or rather styling, is that internal styles will occur within the head section. It's not an external file, but you've written all these properties or all these CSS rules within the style tag in the head section. That is an internal style. When we are talking about an inline style, as you can see on my screen, is where you write these styles within the tags themselves. So if you want to define a style for, let's say, heading 1, you will write, as you can see on my screen just as an example, you will say less than sign h1. And since you want to define the style for h1, you'll say space, then the attribute style is equals to, then open the double quotes and write your CSS rule within those double quotes. So that in itself, as you can see on my on my screen, on the Sublime editor, that is the inline style. So I want you to kindly note that CSS can be done from an external file, which is named either style.css or whatever, but it has to have a .css extension if it's an external CSS file. Internally, or rather within the HTML document, you can define your styles either internally using the style tag within the head tag, or through an inline mechanism where you write it within that tag that you want to style. So I hope you've seen the difference and you've actually noted this difference, because sometimes you might need all of these particular ways of doing your styles, or sometimes you might need one of them. So it's good that you know all the three. So in the next episode, we're going to learn the 3 parts of a CSS rule. And what is a CSS rule? I hope you'll stay tuned for the next episode so that you know what a CSS rule is. So until next time, kudos!